Perhaps one of the greatest troll jobs in the history of financial Twitter is Peter Schiff in just a few days in Q2 of 2024, stating that here are the results. Silver is up 8.7%, gold is up 3.4%, and Bitcoin down 7%. The results speak for themselves. Absolutely beautiful and very, very concerning that most people have not figured out that that is an actual troll job, judging by the responses here. Very, very silly, but it does bring up a really good topic for today's video, gold versus Bitcoin. What's better, what's to be expected, as gold is breaking out right now and is looking pretty damn good, but that does have major implications for Bitcoin, as we'll go over, that I do think are a little bit more exciting over the long term. Anyways, I do want to apologize that this video is becoming a little bit late because, well, Elsa just came up to me before this video and she was all right, fine. You know what? We won't get into that. We'll go on with the show. Okay, so in this case, I do want to show first and foremost that gold indeed did break out, and there is significance with this. We can see that gold putting in basically a 12-year consolidation from the highs of 2012 till current date is now going to resolve to the upside, and what actually appears to be one massive cup and handle in this case. So yes, I do believe that gold is bullish, and Peter Schiff probably going to be, happy for that, and probably does move significantly higher than what we're looking at right now. Next area of interest long term, as we are looking at a quarterly chart right here, because he was looking at the quarterly as well, would be about 2,500. I don't think that things stop there. I do think that this move will likely see over 3,000 in total, but that can take years realistically, because this is a quarterly chart after all. So each and every bar is worth 3 months. Now, here's the thing. Why is this relevant for Bitcoin? Well, because Bitcoin is kind of like the digital gold, or at least that is what it is purported to be. And that is a narrative that actually makes a lot of sense for me. If you're actually asking about my convictions on Bitcoin, which you didn't, but I'm going to tell you anyways, it's very, very simple. I don't have like this massive thought out thesis for Bitcoin or anything like that. It's just this: the world is moving towards a more digitalized state. Bitcoin as an asset makes more sense than gold, especially for newer generations that have, been born and growing up with smartphones and internet and these sort of things. They look at the digital world as probably more real than the real world. They spend more time in it. And so when I look at the market cap of gold, which is, let me just make sure that you can actually see this. Yeah. Close to 16 trillion now. It does make sense to me that Bitcoin would probably be pretty damn close, if not equal to that market cap overall at some point. At least that's where I would be very much long-term thinking, okay, if I am holding this asset long-term Bitcoin, I would very likely be getting out at least with a strong majority of my holdings at the equivalent level of what you see gold. And as of right now, Bitcoin's market cap is 1.3 trillion. So this is orders of magnitude less than what we see for gold, literally less than 10%. Of the market cap of gold is what Bitcoin has as of right now. So I still do think that Bitcoin, just based off of that, is still a relatively new and nascent technology. I mean, technology asset, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Obviously, gold's been around since the dawn of time, so it's had more time to mature. But I would expect, just based off of that, Bitcoin probably trades closer to gold's market cap. Okay, so how is that relevant, or what can we deduce from that? Well, here's the thing: gold's breaking out versus the U.S. dollar, which is good for gold. But how does it affect Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin on the quarterly as well, as we'll look at over here, is breaking out versus gold. So if gold is moving up, we would expect Bitcoin to actually move up with it, and probably more so as well, as Bitcoin maintains its long-term uptrend against gold. That basically, we've only really been documenting this on the charts since 2014. But of course, if we went all the way back to the Genesis, another 4 or 5 years from this date, it would be up even more, to be fair. I mean, it was an uptrend the whole way. But anyways, in this case, Bitcoin did, as of last quarter, which just closed about a week ago now, close on new all-time highs on the quarterly, and this would be a quarterly breakout as well. And while it is getting a pullback to open up this new quarter, quarter 2 of 2024, very likely we do see continuation on top of this. So, in the short term, relative short term on a quarterly chart, do I think that this one pulls back more? Yeah, probably retests, the closing highs, what we saw in 2021, which is somewhere around, low 8.3 billion if you're looking at the ratio between Bitcoin versus gold. However, into the end of this year, and probably for the year or two after that, we are very likely to see this continue to increase suggesting that Bitcoin will continue to, well, move up versus gold in terms of market cap. Now, I do want to state something really, really quickly right here, because people are going to maybe hear that and maybe make price comparisons upon that. Well, they're going to be or what I see a lot of the times, I'm not saying that you're going to do this, but what I see a lot of the times, what I fear you're going to, some people do, is that they'll be like, okay, well, gold's market cap is 15 trillion. If Bitcoin gets 15 trillion and it's at 1.3 trillion right now, I mean, that's basically, I don't know, it's not 15 times, but it's 12 or 13 times the market cap of Bitcoin right now. So therefore, you can take the current price, multiply that by 12-ish, 13-ish. I'm just doing some bad mental math right now. Might be completely off. And therefore, Bitcoin should be close to 800, 900,000 bucks, because that would be 12 times the current price, right? Some 700 to 800,000, something like that. Anyways, no, because it's not the way that price is not related to market cap in that way. Market cap is just the last price traded times the outstanding supply. So it's not really representative of the actual price itself. So while that might be a 10x in market cap, it's not going to be a 10x or even close to a 10x in price, or 12x, I should say. So, maybe something more reasonable, I guess, very long term would be 400,000 if the numbers were literally constant as they are right now, which they're not going to be anyway. So it's not even, it's pointless to try to calculate. All we know is that gold is moving up versus US dollar, Bitcoin's moving up versus gold. Therefore, long-term trends, Bitcoin likely continues on as well. And that brings up the question of, well, where would the next areas of interest be, as we do actually have a long-term macro breakout on just a general upside continuation of this long-term uptrend. Well, I mean, you can see that currently this move has stopped at the 1.272. Probably going to be a short-term stop, relative on a quarterly again. I do expect that we will see at minimum somewhere in this region right here between the 1.5 and the 1.618. And then personally speaking, long-term, long-term, years down the road, we probably see somewhere right around here. So that would imply that the uptrend does continue, obviously. There's going to be ebbs and flows along the way, obviously, but just general trends here could be your friend. So sort of the deduction that I'm making as I go through this is that, to answer Peter Schiff's question or statement, I guess, gold's doing well right now. That's very likely going to bode well for Bitcoin as well. I think that if he looked at things in terms of this, which he's not interested in anyways, because this is a fucking troll job, and it's a genius level troll job at that, because most people don't even realize it's fucking troll. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude, really, this guy just Moon Crypto Wow says, lol, 3 days into the quarter, let's check back at the end. Yeah, I'm sure that Schiff was super serious about that one. He's not a dumb guy. He's genius marketer. Because look, he gets 2 million views on a post like this. It's such a simple post. It's genius. Fucking genius. Anyways, so back on track here. Gold's going to be up. Silver's going to be up as well. But that's probably going to be even more so for Bitcoin over the long period of time. Just because, Bitcoin does also have just a lower total market cap anyway. So it's easier to move in comparison to gold. All right, sweet. So we spoke about that. Let's get into the more short term here. Bitcoin daily stochastic momentum still remains to the downside, despite yesterday yesterday did come down a bit, as we said, but it's just an overall sideways market, which is the main analysis that I'd be having on this channel, for the time to come. Stochastic momentum will remain to the downside as long as Bitcoin's below 70,700. So fair enough. And of course, we go over here to the daily on our HPDR bands, we can see that Bitcoin, trying to dig itself in as of right now. I still wouldn't be surprised if it comes back down, somewhere around here and puts in another stab somewhere around these lows, and then digs itself out, thus playing out the hidden bullish divergence that is building up on the 2-day time frame over here. If we can get back to it. Whoops. It is still very much relevant right here. In fact, it's actually starting to look more and more interesting as of right now with the way that yesterday did close. So in this case, does it spend another couple days kind of going sideways here? Maybe yes, but when CME opens back up for trading, at that point, I would say Bulos actually do have a decent chance to put in the higher low right here, which would actually kind of put in some more upside pressure. I guess sooner than probably what I was looking for, because I'm still looking for a general sideways market until what's called the halving. But still, the main thing is for me, as long as daily stochastic momentum is positioned to the downside more likely, and a weekend bounce doesn't really mean all that much. Does it come back down and play off of this trend line regression right here? Maybe yes. That would still imply a few more days to the downside. So, just as we've been saying before, it's like, yeah, there is downside pressure. Problem is here, I don't want to get too damn bearish, because as we begin going over on the Bitcoin production fundamentals chart, low 60,000s or even upper $50,000 territory is a value area, at least long term, as far as what I'm concerned. We could see closures maybe a little bit below there. That's fine, but we wouldn't expect it's consistent for very long. So getting back into it over here, or maybe over here, this weekend probably gonna be more or less uneventful if I had to guess. I'd still say the same thing generally to the upside, that I'm not super bullish on. It's not even the word bullish, but I'm not looking at this correction as over with upside imminent, as long as Bitcoin is closing below $69,000. As long as that is not maintained, still some more sideways with pressure onto the downside as we let the oscillators kind of cool off. But bullish things in the background are starting to build up yet again. Just going to take time, naturally speaking. So that's a good place for me to be leaving off on this particular video. Hopefully that was in some way helpful. I won't tell you Elsa's story for now, but maybe at a later date. Anyways, as always, I want to wish you the best. Do you want to say it? No. All right, she doesn't want to say it. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow.